What's up, Yoon-Fam? It is I,
Mark Yoon.
Welcome to part 2 of 3 of this special week's videos. I'm talking about the reasons against a possible Season 3. Now, of course, we haven't had an actual announcement yet for a Season 3, but due to the data mines that we found since the end of Season 1, we do know that there are characters that are slotted to be in Season 3. Notwithstanding like the current predicament that the world is now facing, that's why I think that there are some reasons why it would be better to hold off and allocate those resources into the current game as it is and work on fixing that instead of adding the third season pass, or at least before the third season pass comes out. Now, the first reason that I gave in yesterday's video was talking about the Create Assault aspect and how broken that is and how desperately that needs to be repaired before moving on to anything else or adding new things to that already broken system. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the thing that I hear the most from people. Now, the reason against Season 3 that I hear the most from other people is the current netcode. Now, the current state of the netcode in Soul Calibur 6 is abysmal at best. There has not been a time where I have ever tried to play the game with somebody online or in ranked or anything of that nature without getting kicked out of a lobby or booted back to the lobby or something akin to that. A lot of games in recent times have focused more on rollback, where I don't actually necessarily know if rollback is the best option for Soul Calibur 6. It definitely has to be better than the options that we're given now, which is this kind of like half-measured peer-to-peer option, which really doesn't pan out the way that it should or supposed to. Now, I mentioned that I get kicked out of lobbies a lot, and this is not just like doing things normally online. This is in member matches that I play with my subscribers and members of the Yoon-Fam, and my personal IRL friends and things of that nature. It's a constant bombardment of let's choose a character, then we're getting kicked out, or the spectators can't watch, or just any litany of problems that we currently face when it comes to the netcode in online aspect of Soul Calibur 6. This is not only the only problem that we have with online, however. If you do actually get a match to start up, you are going to be inundated with massive amounts of lag and frame rate drops to the point where you can almost be watching a slideshow. I joke a lot. Sometimes it is so incredibly bad that it completely breaks the immersion of the gameplay and combat. Don't even remember what combo string you're in the middle of inputting, and you end up on the wrong side of a lag. Now, this affects people differently, but we've seen witnesses that are spectating these matches online themselves, and they're all seeing the same thing that we're all seeing, which is hints that it is the network and not necessarily the internet of the person who is on the opposite end. I've mentioned before that I have in New York City gigabit internet, so I have pretty fast internet, and I know that some people that I play against may have slower internet speeds, but we're seeing the same thing on screen. It's not like they are slowed down for me or glitching or any of those aspects. It's just a straight up all around crap show when it comes to online in this game. And as a avid fan and supporter of the Soul Calibur franchise, I think this is the one aspect that they need to work on and focus on before they start reallocating resources into a Season 3 or possibly anything other than that. Because we can get all these great characters that we want in these season passes, and we can get all these new cool creative character costumes that we can show off to our friends online, but the online's broken to the point where we can't actually utilize them or play, and the functionality is not there, or the network is down. And there's no real reason to have that except for off-player experiences. And I, as an off-player most of the time, I will say that online is a very important aspect of this game. It is one of the few aspects you can actually play socially, especially during these the current situation that's going on right now throughout the world. And I know that they are inundated with restrictions on their end, and it is really hard for them to complete a lot of these tasks from home, especially when it comes to network issues. But it's just one of the aspects that I hear a lot, especially from people who are competitive in esports or people who like to play competitively in ranked mode. This can be a make or break. It shouldn't be a your skill was up to par, but unfortunately the network was not kind of situation. And it doesn't always like ill affect both sides the same. Like some people can experience little to no lag, while other characters are pretty much stuck in motion. And that, I think, does have something to do with the person's internet, especially if they're not connected with an Ethernet cable. But that's not always the situation. The network is just really bad when it comes to Soul Calibur 6. It is probably one of the most mainstream fighting games that I think is afflicted by this problem. And I just can't see them saying that we're going to spend all this money on Season 3 for characters that probably aren't even going to have anything to do with the story currently, but we're going to give you that kind of stuff and more Tekken outfits and a guest character, as opposed to, you know, actually making the game playable online. Because in its current state, it's barely playable and barely functional. There's been multiple times where I just don't want to play the game because I'll get like 3 matches in a row that are just laggy, buggy messes, and it completely takes me out of the game, and I really just want to go back and play single player at that point, or play another game. And I feel like if you're paying for a title and one of the main features that is offered to you is the online competitive aspect and nature of it, because this is not just like a single player game, this is an online competitive like fighting game. I feel like that the focus should definitely be on our experiences online, which includes, but is not limited to, the netcode. There's also things that they need to fix when it comes to lobbies themselves. The lobbies are very stressful when it comes to getting put into a waiting state after like a few seconds, and then instead of actually just like pressing a button to become active again, you have to literally open a menu, go down that menu to another menu, and actually click active. This is something that they need to use shortcuts for. This is as inexcusable to me as it was not having replays in Jump Force. I think that this menu needs to be tightened up, and it's okay for what it does, but especially when you only allow like 7 people in a room for a match. That's also another thing that I think they tried to do that to cut down on lag and input issues, but I mean, it's obviously the latency doesn't care about their intentions when it comes to this, because the proof is in the pudding itself. They should be allowed to have more people in a room, especially for King of the Hill matches and whatnot. I think like the number of people they allot in an actual lobby is ridiculous, but that probably has to do with limitations on the network, and they want to make sure that they're not like inundating the system and over like burdening it with different kinds of people trying to have different fights. But even with that, like I said before, like the spectator mode is broken, where it literally only works like half the time, where another opponent is in a King of the Hill match or in a versus match in the same lobby as I am, and you can't even watch their battle. It just kicks you back to the lobby, where you're stuck there sitting there with either text messages with the other people in the lobby, or just staring at a blank screen, where most of the other people are actually watching the in-battle lobby, so it's not actually going to have any communication when it comes to that anyway. There's a lot of things that I think they need to focus on in this game before we move on to a Season 3. Season 2 was a little bit differently, because the game felt a little bit more at bare bones with the character roster and the things that they were missing, especially legacy characters, and it's true that there are legacy characters that do need to return, and I'm not sure if I want them in this game or if they should be saved for Soul Calibur 7. I've done videos on that in the past, so you can find my information there. But when it comes to the online aspect of this game, they really just need to get themselves in order. I think that it is ridiculous that people want to drop this game just based on the fact that it's unplayable online in its current state. And it's also something that I don't think a next generation version or current generation version port could actually solve. If you're going to move this game to a PlayStation 5 / Xbox Series X version and variation, I think the people that buy that game or upgrade are going to expect a better netcode situation than we're getting right now, because the way that this game works online reminds me a lot of like PlayStation 3 era stuff, and it really should be focused on and get fixed. That way, I think the game could be in more tournaments. It could be better, especially right now where there's no in-person stuff going on. And it would just help the game in the long run. But I think if you want to tack on a Season 3 after that, at that point, then that's fine. But this is one of 3 major key features that needs to get focused on before they allocate any kind of resources or money to anything else. But with that being said, guys, I want to bring this video to a close. I want to thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. In the description box down below, you will find affiliated channels with mine, as well as the link to my Discord, where we talk about all kinds of stuff, including Soul Calibur, and I would love to see you over there. Any and all thoughts you have are welcome in the comment section down below. Likes are always appreciated, and as always, I love it. Thank you.
and thank you.